Spiritual awakening is no longer the domain of elite practitioners, but is suddenly within the reach of us all. Exploring life after awakening. It can be likened to the experience of waking up from a dream you didn't even know you were in until you were jolted out of it. Our sense of self is a combination of defense mechanisms generated by the ego. We are not so much waking up to something as we are waking up from what is perceived as the self. Awakening is not the same experience for everyone. It may be instantaneous and abiding, or it may exist for a moment and come back to us in many moments throughout our lives. No matter which form of awakening occurs, the challenge is to continue life in this world, inhabiting the same physical existence, but with new information. Ask yourself, what do I know for certain? Authentic awakening and the disorientation that can follow. In order to awaken, we must break out of the paradigm of always seeking to feel better. In order to awaken, we must break out of the paradigm of always seeking to feel better. If the ego is not dissolved, it will hijack the process of awakening, so that the byproducts of awakening are experienced without a person actually being awakened. Every day, it is important to check in, to safeguard against the things that make us comfortable enough to go back to sleep. Knowing what puts you to sleep doesn't stop it from happening. It simply means that you can be aware of it when it happens. Ask yourself, what puts me to sleep? Coming completely out of hiding. The choice is between meditative inquiry and becoming a victim. Once we are awakened, we realize that most of what we choose to do in life is motivated by selfishness. It may feel like we lose our personality and motivation as we awaken to an egoless state of existence. Dissolution of the ego is aided by acknowledging the oneness of all things. Transcendence as avoidance. The awakened person cannot live in a false state of security. You may have experienced temporary or even abiding awakening, but that doesn't mean that every thought is necessarily an awakened thought. The idea of transcendent awakening, being above and immune to all thoughts, often means that the awakening isn't completely manifest. It is important to examine any thoughts that seem to be motivated by the remaining ego. Embrace them and retrace them to locate their origin. Once this is done, you can often move on from those thoughts. Ask yourself, what is the origin of unawakened thoughts? The energetic component of awakening. When the motives of self are released, there is more free energy. Awakening requires grace and radical discipline in alternating doses. The exact prescription is something for the awakened to discover. Ask yourself, where should the energy be directed now that it is no longer focused on maintaining an ego? The natural state. The call to come out of denial is not something that is imposed upon life. Awakening is the first step on the journey towards enlightenment. The end of your world doesn't mean that you leave this world. It means that this world reframes itself in your perception. You exist in service to and as part of this world. As you continue your human journey, you will encounter people, places, experiences, and thought patterns from your unawakened life. You need not fear these moments or try to cut ties with them. The beauty of awakening is that you now see them in the true light, all as elements of the universal journey towards enlightenment. All are one in the experience of life. This is the only place to be. This is actually the promised land, as it is, if only we will open our eyes and see it. Adyashanti.